Hi, boys and girls. Today I am going to do more research on the giant panda. It is Friday, so I'm going to do the fun facts section on my notes. I know I've already shown you the body and the habitat, and hopefully you've already done your research on your food and your life cycle. I'm going to go ahead and do my fun facts for you today so that we can write about that for our research project. So today is day 5 of your project. You should have already done those other sections. If you haven't yet, it's okay. You can go back and do it. All the sections are due by next Friday, May 22nd. So today I'm going to read a different book on Mayan. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up Mayan for us to look at. All right, and I'm going to search giant panda. And this book, Giant Pandas Are Awesome, gave me some pretty cool facts about pandas. There's a lot of panda books, and I've read all of them. Some of them are very, very basic and don't give me too many facts, and some of them are very long. So this one is kind of in the middle. So I wanted to pick that one to read part of it with you today. Now, if you remember, when you're reading a nonfiction book, you do not need to read the whole thing. So I skimmed through the book and I saw a section about the panda's body, about its habitat, about its food and the life cycle. And then at the end, it had some more interesting facts that I could write. So I kind of skipped through it. You are welcome to do that. You don't have to read the whole book when you're reading nonfiction. Now, before I read it, I'm going to write down the title on my writing paper. Giant pandas are awesome. Because I want to make sure I cite my source so that I don't pretend like this was my information. And the author's name is down at the bottom here, Megan Cooley Peterson. All right, so let's go ahead and look in the book. Okay, so here it tells me about what the animal likes to eat, how they love to eat bamboo. This book has some pretty cool pictures too. This whole part is about the panda's body, which we've already researched about that and how big they get. This book has a lot of details. So I actually could probably go back and add to what I've already written, because the other book that I wrote, the other book that I read didn't tell me how big pandas get. And that was a question that I was wondering. So I could add that they grow to be 250 pounds. And they're about 3 feet tall. All right. So still telling me all about the body. All right, and then this part is telling me about where they live. And it has a nice map here of Asia. And then, oh, you know what? This was a fun fact that I read. And it didn't really fit in any of my other sections. So I think I'm going to read this page. This page says, giant pandas don't roar like other bears, but they do make a lot of sounds. So I'm going to highlight this part. They don't roar like other bears, because that is something that I think is a fun fact. That's interesting that maybe a lot of people don't know about them. Pandas huff and snort when they're upset. They bleat like lambs to say hello. Females bark at males when it's time to mate. They bleat like lambs, like bah. So I think that's a fun fact that maybe people don't realize what sounds that the panda bears make. They probably think because they are a bear, they would make a sound that other bears make, but that's not true. All right, and then this part is about their life cycle, what they look like as a baby. All right, and this is the part that I wanted to write about, is that giant pandas are endangered, which means they are rare. There's not a lot of giant pandas left in the world. Here it says, saving giant pandas. When bamboo forests are cut down, pandas don't have enough food to eat. Roads and towns make it hard for pandas to move to new forests. Because of this, giant pandas are endangered. Fewer than 2,500 pandas live in the wild. Which means there might be more pandas at zoos or at special reserves, but in the wild, just roaming free, there's only 2,500, which sounds like a lot, but if you think about the whole world and the whole country of China where they live, that's not too many. Today, zoos breed giant pandas. In the wild, land is set aside for pandas to live on. People want to save these awesome Asian animals. All right, so pandas are protected, and this is something that I read in my other books, through my research too. Many pandas are protected in zoos and in places called reserves, where people have set aside land in the wild where just pandas can live, and nobody can cut down the land there. So the pandas are safe from their habitat getting destroyed. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of this book. And I also did some more research by Googling and searching for panda reserves. I wanted to know kind of where pandas are in the world, in the wild, and what zoos have pandas. And through my research, I found out that there are panda bears at the Atlanta Zoo in Georgia. There are also panda bears at the Smithsonian Zoo, which is in Washington, D.C. And both of those zoos do a really good job of taking care of the pandas. And people who visit those zoos love to go see the pandas. So I'm going to show you something that I found that was pretty cool. So at both of the zoos, they actually have these live giant panda cameras. So if I scroll, oh, there he is. So if I scroll down here, this is actually a camera. This is a real panda bear. He's not really moving right now. And this shows it's live. So this is what he's actually doing. When I looked at it a little while ago, he was over here on the other side. So it looks like he's moved. The video might be a little frozen. Let me see if I can refresh it to see if Okay, so there we go. There we go. Now we see him chewing. Look at that. So that's a real panda bear. And this is his habitat that he's in right now. It's hard to tell. This might be a glass screen that people can look in on and see them. But I'm not sure if this is where the pandas always are, or if this is just where he is right now. But if you notice, in his habitat, they have put tons of bamboo, because that is the plant that panda bears love to eat. And this video is from the Smithsonian Zoo in Washington, D.C. So you might be able to find a live camera at a zoo or at a reserve that shows your animal. So maybe that's something that you can research and look for as another source. So we don't have to keep watching this, because I bet you all he's gonna do the whole time we're watching it is probably eat more and more and more bamboo, because that's what they mostly do all day. He's not gonna do much. All right, so now I'm going to do my writing. And remember, we are doing our fun facts section. All right, and I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, so this is where I wrote my title. These are the notes that I took down here while we were reading. I wrote, they don't roar, they are endangered, they bleat like lambs, there are less than 2,500 in the wild, many are protected in zoos, and that they live, one of the zoos that they live in is the Smithsonian Zoo, and we saw them on the live camera. So I think I'm going to write about that they are endangered. I'm just going to draw a little picture here that says reserve. I'm going to draw some bamboo plants. So in a place that is a reserve for the panda bears, it means that they are trying to take the pandas out of their habitat, but not to hurt them, to keep them safe, because the pandas are not, some pandas are not safe in their own habitat because their habitat has been destroyed or cut down, and if they stay there, they might run out of food. So people in these organizations that want to protect the pandas, they want to keep them safe. All right, so there's my panda. Here's his bamboo that he likes to eat, and there's a lot of it there. And this reserve is like a park or a big piece of land that is mimicking or acting like what the panda's real habitat would look like. All right, so here I'm going to write about how the pandas are endangered. Pandas, oops, I don't need that, are endangered animals. They are rare. Rare means they're not very common to find. There are only about 2,500 left in the wild. Other pandas live in zoos or protected reserves. All right, so I'm going to stop there because I'm running out of room, but if I wanted to write more, I could be more specific and write that there are some panda bears at the Smithsonian Zoo that I saw on the camera, or that there are some panda bears at the Atlanta Zoo. I think the Atlanta Zoo is the closest one, or one of the closest ones to where we live that you could go see. All right, my friends, so endangered is a word that some people might be wondering what it means. Endangered just means that they are in danger of their habitat being destroyed. So they are in danger of not being able to live in the world anymore. So that is why many people have decided to take care of the giant pandas and to make places in the zoos for them and make reserves to protect them and not just leave them out in the wild. If they were left out in the wild all by themselves, they might not be able to survive out there anymore. Because even though 2,000 sounds like a lot, that number has gone down a lot over the years. That's what it said in some of the other books that I read. All right, so your job today is to find something about your animal that you find interesting or awesome or fun that you didn't already write about in your other sections. Then once you're done writing about your fun facts and you've already filled out all the other information for the week, then you can work on your diorama. You can work on your diorama this weekend if you want. I am going to make another video tomorrow showing how I'm going to make my diorama out of a shoebox and some other materials that I have around my house. All right, so have fun. I can't wait to find out what you find out that is awesome and fun about your animal. And I will see you later. Have a good day.